Hello again. So today we're going to tie a little ginger dry fly, a kind of Adams style dry fly. Now I had a very frustrating evening on the river a few years ago. Now the fish were coming up and taking these. They weren't that small, but they weren't massive either. These little flies, and they were so preoccupied on them. Nothing I had in my box would suffice. I didn't catch any of them, in fact. So I went home, sat at the vise, and this is what I came up with, because I managed to catch one of the flies, and it was just a little ginger thing. Now, that's the only way I can describe it. I mean, I don't know what the fish was. I don't know that much about entomology. But this is what I came up with, and I went back the next evening, and I caught quite a few fish, actually. So I'm going to start the thread, which is a Uni 80 in iron grey. Oops, just show you the thread. Uni 80 in iron grey. I'm going to start the thread maybe an eye length back from the eye. Touching turns, I'm going to come back to just before the barb, and I'm going to tie in my tail. I'm going to make sure I've got plenty of wax on my thread here. Now the tail is just a cock hackle feather, and the colour's natural red game. I mean, it's just a nice ginger colour. Now we're going to take half a dozen or so fibres. Tail length, maybe hook length, maybe just longer hook length. I'm going to come up, I'm going to catch it on the top, do a couple of wraps, see how it's looking. I like that. Do another wrap, then lift the tail, come under the tail, pull the thread towards the eye of the hook, and then lock it in. And what you'll find that does is splay those fibres out lovely. And then I'm going to run the thread up just a little ways, take off the rest of these hackle tips. If I take off the rest of these hackle tips, there we go. Tie them in, don't worry if they spin round on you a little bit. And then come back halfway, come up again, and then come back the whole way. And we're going to tie in our body. Body is a rabbit fur, mole fur mix. Lovely colour, really easy to dub on. You know, it's a bit like superfine, this dubbing. And in actual fact, I expect you could use maybe a black or a dark grey superfine dubbing. We're going to dub some on. Don't want loads, but we want enough to build up a nice body. I'm going to put the rest back in the packet. And we're going to do a turn at the back. We're going to tighten this up as we go, just for a little bit. Ignore that long fibre that's sticking up just for a bit. We get rid of him. Come up to where the thorax would be, making sure you've got that lovely tapered body. And there we go. And then I'm going to run my thread all the way to the eye. And now I'm going to come in, and any long fibres I'm just going to get rid of. You can see a couple here. There we go. Always thinking about the shape of your fly. I'm happy with that. A couple of bits there. Like I said, sometimes on flies you could spend forever trimming, and I'm happy with that. Now, I used to tie hackle tip wings into this fly, but I stopped, and I just put the hackle in after a while, because I noticed that they got destroyed by the fish pretty quickly, and after even just one fish, the hackle tips were breaking. You know, it might last a few fish, but I still carried on catching fish regardless. So I kind of thought, well, why tie in those wing hackle tips? There's no point. It works just as well. It works just as well without them. Hackle is a ginger grizzle genetic saddle feather. Now I'm going to tie it in with the inside of the feather facing the hook. So you're looking at the outside of the feather there. We're going to turn it around. That's the inside. That's the side we're going to tie. We're just going to catch it bring the thread down, lift that tip up, come in with your nice sharp scissors, take that tip away. We're going to make sure we got plenty of wax on the thread, so there's plenty of grip. Come back down. Now we're just gonna, oh, to Daisy, if it breaks on you, don't worry about it, just come back, take the stem out and tie it in again. Things like this happen. These are really delicate feathers, so you have got to be really gentle, and I think I've explained before. That was just another moment you just witnessed of Oaf Hans Mussellwhite strikes again. So, I mean, I always when I do a video, I never do it. Well, I never do it. I very rarely do it when I'm just tying for myself. As soon as I start to make a video, things go wrong. Anyway, we're now going to wind this hackle. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to probably keep winding till I get to that eye. I don't mind a bit of hackle on this fly. There we go. I'm going to follow the feather up with the thread, put a 90-degree bend into the stem, come round, couple of turns, and I'm going to pull everything back, and I'm going to do a couple of turns. Don't worry about the hackle feather. Don't worry about that for a minute. We'll sort that out in a second. We're just going to leave everything as it is. We're going to come down, being very, very gentle, which, gentle me, yeah, I know. But anyway, we're going to come round 3 or 4 turns. It's probably enough. We're going to come up, take the whip finish tool out, tighten that thread. You can see the thread's nice and tight. 3 threads nice and tight. Any varnish that might have gone into the hook eye, just get rid of. Now we're going to come in with the scissors. We're going to trim the thread away, and then we're going to pull this hackle tip to break it off. Now this is a test. This is a test of how well you've tied things in. There you go. Just a fibre there I don't like. Just caught it. And there we have it. Now, sort out its tail, sort out anything that you've destroyed. Now this is very simple to tie. And it just works. You know, when I gink it or muslin it, I just sweep, I put the muslin or gink on my fingers, rub it through my fingers, and I just pull everything up like this. You know, if you find it's not sitting on the water as you want it to, you can come in when you're fishing and trim some of the lower fibres away. But normally just having a little bit of a gink and a sweep up with your fingers like this. No, she normally sits all right. As you can see, it's flat now on the bottom, and normally ginking it up like that normally does the trick. But like I said, if you're really bothered, you can just come in and trim any fibres on this bottom away, and she'll sit on the water nicely for you. So there we go. There we go. There is my Ginger Adams, I just call it. So it's a wicked little fly, and I quite like tying it. It's fun to tie. Anyway, there you go. There's another one. Please like and subscribe. It really does help. And we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.